Hello everybody, Joe Bag of Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Tsukihime Remake, where hopefully this time my microphone is a little louder. People were kind enough to inform me on the Discord, which the link for it is down in the comments down below, not in the comments, in the description, that's where it is. Because I'm too lazy to make a permanent pinned comment to go on every single video, so it just stays in the description, where it's always been. I should probably advertise that in, whenever I do my like, comment, subscribe, and the notification bell thing at the end, which, in all honesty, I should also do at the beginning of the video. Because if YouTube analytics show anything, it's that people, drop off relatively quickly. I don't blame you. I don't think people are just clicking on the video and then listening for 10 seconds and then closing it and be like, this guy sucks. I imagine that there's a fair bit of that, you know, in the first one or two episodes when people are still new to the channel and the series in general, and like, let's see what this guy is about, and then it's instantly, I find him annoying, I will not watch this, goodbye. If they're anything like me, they'll open a video, it'll play 2 seconds, then they'll pause it, and put it in one of their tabs, and then they'll be like, yeah, I'll get back to that later. And then they never do, and it just stays in the tabs on the top of their screen for like a week or two, and then their computer restarts and fucks up their audio settings somehow, and then they come back and all their tabs are gone, and they're like, well, that was that, I guess. Guess I'll never watch that video, if they even think about it or remember it existed. Which, they probably don't. Let's be real here. But, yeah. Sorry I didn't record yesterday, or the day before. I honestly wasn't feeling that great. I was kind of froggy in the last episode, if you could even hear me, considering my microphone was so quiet. But I just wasn't feeling the best. My throat in particular. I don't know what it was. When I went to bed that night, I just had, like, a hoarse, like, hacking cough. Like, not like phlegmy and gross, but just, like, coughing on nothing. It didn't feel like when you have a cold and, you know, like, the back of your throat gets kind of that swollen sore, and you can, like, oh, I can tell I'm gonna have, like, a coughing fits or whatever. It was none of that. It was really strange. I just got into bed, and I'm like, oh, I'm, like, super dry for whatever reason, and I'm just, like, hacking on nothing. It was odd. And then I just didn't feel great. But now I feel better-ish. It was a great way to spend the weekend, though. You know, just feeling ick. It's my favorite way to spend the weekends. If you can't tell, that's a lie. I was feeling relatively better, yesterday evening, no, not tomorrow, yesterday evening. Yeah, that's right. I know my days. What is yesterday, but today's tomorrow? Something like that. I completely butchered that, but, moving on. Gotta keep the bit going. I decided to just have a big cup of rum instead, because I was all out of coffee. So I just heated that up and proceeded to choke it down. Probably shouldn't have used Jamaican rum, particularly because, if you don't know, in the different varieties of rum, like white rum, Jamaican rum, the other rum, Jamaican rum is known to have, like, a characteristic funk to it. Like, that if you go to a bar, that is how they describe it. It has a funky taste, and I enjoy it, but it's not a very good just sit back, relax, and sip it all night kind of drink. It's not like an old-fashioned with a good whiskey where it's like, I can enjoy the smoky flavor, you know? Or if you're a freak, enjoy, like, the peatiness of it. It just kind of... It's better for mixing into things, you know, if you're making, like, a good cocktail. It adds, like, a good oomph to it. But, no. Nah. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad either. It was just, yeah, this is a really big cup of Jamaican rum. And because Jamaican rum is, like, 80 proof? That sounds about right. That's, like, 40 APV. Compared to, like, a beer, which is in, like, the 3 to 6 range. You know, finishing one of those is like crushing it over a 6-pack by yourself. Like, it's like chugging 8 beers in a couple minutes. That's why, you know, if you're trying to get drunk quick, just fucking shoot whiskey or something. I was in no condition to record to have a good video. So I erred on the side of better judgment and said, no, I will not start the recording of a 2-hour video at 9 p.m. while I am drunk. That's a bad idea. And won't you know, I was dead on. That was a terrible idea, which is why I didn't do it. But the matter still stands that I'm out of coffee, and I'm resorted to busting out my old electric kettle. Which, if you don't know, in the U.S., electric kettles kind of suck because they don't heat up as quickly as compared to like ones in Europe. It has to do with the difference in how our power supplies work. I won't get into it here, but it's why they're not particularly popular in the United States, and people will just throw a fucking pot of water on the stove because they boil at about the same rate. If you get like a cheapo instant one, but I got a good one where it has a timer and you can actually adjust the temperature. So I made some tea, got some orange pekoe going, which if you don't know, it's not called that because it has oranges in it. It's called that because it was a major import by the Dutch East India Company on behalf of the House of Orange, the royal family of the Netherlands. So it's orange pekoe, and I'm pretty sure pekoe is a kind of, I was about to say, Anglicization, transitioning into English, but it's not English. It would have been from, Chinese or something into Dutch. So, it's pekoe's the variety of tea, and orange is because it's imported for and by the House of Orange, so therefore it is orange pekoe, boom. It does not have orange in it. I'm pretty sure it does have a... Actually, it doesn't even have any citrus in it, does it? That's like Earl Grey has a bit of citrus in it. The mysteries of black tea. I didn't even rinse out my coffee cup, though, so it's probably not even going to taste that great. It's got that good patina on the bottom of the mug of the past day's coffee that just stays out overnight and dries. It's like a cast iron pan, You don't really clean it. Well, you do clean it, but you don't give it like a good rinse with like a steel wire brush and soap. You'll ruin the flavor. It's baked in. I say as I look at my other coffee mug on my desk, which literally has a fucking layer of coffee caked onto the bottom because it's still there from when I went on my trip, which I won't talk about because I can't talk about those things anymore, for a month with like still an entire cup of coffee in it sitting on my desk, and it's now evaporated into like just a film, which I bet if you broke it up and like added water, it would essentially be instant coffee. It's dehydrated coffee, but that's disgusting. So I'll go add that to my my dishwater. I mean, not my dishwater, my dishwasher later. Get it cleaned up because I do like this mug. It's one of my favorite mugs. It's a Little Buster's mug, and it's got Dorge the cat on it in like a field of dandelions, and he's asleep. And he's just a little guy, I fucking love Dorge. He's great in the batting mini game. You hit the ball off him and it rebounds it back to the batter's box, like 100% of the time. He's one of the best like combo options. Just hit him, bop, 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 and get the high score and increase your points. Dude, I fucking love Little Busters. It's a shame. Shame I can't do it for the channel. I tried. It was the first series I ever recorded. It was a reread of it back on my old channel before it got deleted. And even then, that was like almost a year before I started Mufflove. The channel that I really, got my sea legs with. But I stopped after one route because it was like my 7th reread, and I just couldn't find anything good to talk about. One, because I didn't want to spoil things, but I also wanted to talk about things, but I just couldn't find a good balance. I knew what was coming up, so nothing really surprised me, so there was like no intrigue, no narrative building, no theory building on the way through the story, and I also didn't have a proper video editing software at the time. I was using Windows Movie Maker, which, if you need to make a lot of video cuts, like I did, because I would cut out the baseball mini games. What did I say right there? Mini games. Because they were horrifically boring to watch me play, because I would run out of things to talk about in 5 minutes, and then I would still have like 20 minutes left of batting practice. But I don't want to skip batting practice, because if you do that, you don't get the stat bonuses, which you need to beat the captain's team at the end of the common route, which doesn't really affect anything. It just makes you feel good. Anyway, it's been 10 minutes, which means I should probably start the video now. Yeah, the Tsukihime, that's what we're playing. Arcueid is in our house. These things tend to be bad. She does not get along with Akiya, if Kagetsu Toya is anything to go by. Let's just call it a personality mismatch. And leave it at that, yeah? Okay. Moving on. Hopefully my tea has cooled off enough to drink, because that's another reason why I wanted to rant and rave a lot before I started the episode, because that tea came out scalding hot. And I didn't want to burn my precious little mouth on it. Yep, that's tea. I could have let it steep a little longer, but it'll do. Looks like I've managed to set a new personal best. Climbing that killer of a hill and reaching the Tono mansion in record time has me gasping for air. But my trial is far from over. Man literally said gulp out loud. I begin to catch my breath. My weary shoulders get a reprieve as well. I swear the mansion looks like it came right off the set of a horror movie. Now that I think about it... the author's thinly veiled fetish inserted once again. Yeah, Nasu's really in his fucking giant woman era the past couple of years, ain't he? Yeesh. Are people always this willing to make their peace and march to their death? A little better, though, from his... the era he was in when he first started. Just say, there's a reason Ilya and Lenin are the ways they are. No, there's no running from this now. It would only make things worse. I cast aside my fears and venture into the grim abode. Hello.
あと1分遅かったのならどうなっていたかわからなかったところです。
I mean, he's already busted curfew, so.
あ、やっと帰ってきたな、こいつめ。妹さんばかりか私まで待たせるとか、やっぱり普段から横暴なのね。
Yep, you know us, because we're so close. They stare at me with polar opposite expressions on their face. I know what this feeling is. This must be how a captive feels when they're forced to plead for their lives with a gun pointed at the back of their head, like in an action movie. Words fail me. I'm unable to come up with any kind of response. Can't believe Arcueid and Akiya are face to face in the same room. They're both sitting on the sofa like there's nothing amiss at all. Though unlike Arcueid, who seems perfectly calm, Akiya has bitter contempt written all over her face. She's like, oh, this is the kind of woman you're into, huh? Akiya glances at me.
どうしたんですか、兄さん。そんなところに立っていないで。
She's like, shit. She's like
どう
literally
ぞ
my
こちら
polar
に来て
opposite.
座ってください。
No way. I inch a little closer to the sofa, but the feeling that I might be stabbed by a knife keeps me from moving any nearer.
ここでいいです。それよりアキヤ、こいつはだな、その。
Yeah, my good friend. She's not very good at Japanese, so she misconstrued what girlfriend meant. She is a girl, and she is my friend, and that's it. Just a couple of besties. Oh, how do I begin to explain? I doubt I can get away with calling her a classmate, and saying she's someone I met in town would probably just make things worse.
その何ですか？
Yes, but try nonetheless. Let's see what you got. His glare pierces into me. I can tell I'm not going to be off the hook here. Ugh. I don't think there's anything I can say that'll dig me out of this hole. Still, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, or disturb what little peace I found. There's gotta be a way to explain. What she's even doing here in the first place? How can she sit there smiling away like that? Can't imagine Akio would let someone like, someone she's never met. Can't believe Akio would let someone she's never met before into the parlor.
その前にいいかな。こいつなんて言ってやってきたの？
Oh, you know, this and that. Arcueid tilts her head in confusion.
兄さんのご友人ではないんですか？
Mm-hmm.
この方はそう自称しましたが。
Yeah, you know, we, worked together on a thing once. Don't ask what it is, though. I signed an NDA.
ああ、うん。友人といえば友人。
そうですか。私にも紹介していただけると嬉しいわ。
Yes, of course. This is Arcueid Brunstead of the Crimson Moon.
兄さんのご友人でしたら、無下にお帰りいただくわけにはいきませんし。
それはですね、アキラさん。
Ugh, he's struggling. I mumble.
ふん、友人ね。
Arcueid works her way into the conversation, probably tired of being ignored.
あんなひどいことしておいて、そういうこと言うんだ。私。
Sorry, Arcueid, didn't mean to cut you off. My head whirls. Now this is some vertigo. Floored, I find myself discoupled from reality with astonishing speed.
それはどういった意味でしょうか？私の兄が身体面あるいは精神面においてあなたに危害を加えたとでも？
But she likes it though, so it's fine.
失礼ですが、ご自分がどれほど信憑性のない発言をしているか理解していますか？
I forget where it is, but I'm pretty sure like when it's like, oh, this is like the character sheet and it's like Arcueid's likes, Shiki, and his bullying, dislikes, Shiki's bullying. You know, she's a little, you know, yeah.
ええ、バッチリね。でも安心して、そんなのもう気にしていないから、ちゃんと体で返してもらったし。なので、どうぞお構いなく。私は式を誘いに来ただけだもの。すぐに出かけるわ。
Yeah, I don't want to mess up the
そう
room.
でしょ、式。
Oh shit. This is bad. The more she talks, the shorter my lifespan gets.
いやー
I force a laugh as I make for Arcueid, grabbing her arm.
ちょっと式、急に何するのよ。
We're escaping. There's no time to listen to her complaints. Dragging Arcueid by the arm, I bolt out of the parlor, leaving a stunned Akia behind. Isui's waiting in the lobby. Wonder what she's thinking, seeing me with Arcueid in tow. I have the hunch I won't like the answer, so I'll worry about that later.
お出かけですか、式様。
不本意ながらすっごく申し訳ないんだけど、玄関の鍵は開けておいてほしい。
She's like, okay, before you go, have this. And she just, you know, hands you a Trojan.
はい、かし
It's
こ
like
まり
better
まし
safe
た。
than sorry.
どうぞ。大変。
I hurry past the bowing Hisui and try to get away from the mansion as fast as possible.
痛いな。いきなり外に連れ出すなんて、式って常識ないんじゃない？
Yeah, whatever happened to just sneaking in through the window? I've never heard a stupider question in my life.
お前こそ何のつもりだよ。真正面からうちの屋敷に来るなんて正気じゃないぞ。もしかして俺の生活をぶっ壊すつもりなのか、このバカ女。
Yeah, what are you, stupid?
バカ女って、あなた私をバカにしてるの？
Yeah, kinda.
バカをバカって言ってんだから、それ以外何があるって言うんだバカ。
あ、うん。
I'm actually livid. Never been in such an infuriating situation before. I have to give her a piece of my mind. Otherwise, I won't be able to let this one go.
何よ。私は式に会いに来ただけじゃない。そんなに怒られるようなことしてないと思うけど。
会いに来ただけって、アルクエイド、お前本気で言ってるのか？
そうだけど、何よ。何の問題もないからね。魔眼も使ってないし、
Yep,
極めて
completely
人間
normal.
的なアプローチしたんだし。四季の妹さんにだって四季の目のことも私が吸血鬼であることもちゃんと黙っててあげたんだから。
Okay, that's all we wanted to know.
そこは言わなくてもわかる。そっちの話に関しちゃ常識ありそうだからな、お前。
わかんないな。それじゃあなんでそんなに怒ってるのよ、あなたは。
Because your common sense isn't that common and you can't be trusted on your own.
そっちがあんまりにも考えなしだからだよ。この際だからはっきり言っておくぞ。周囲の目を考える、自分の特徴を自覚する。頼むからもうちょっとおとなしめに行動すること。お前はいるだけで目立つんだから。
I feel better now that I've said what needed to be said. Though Arcueid, who's been on the receiving end of it, seems the complete opposite. And now she's standing out even more. She's sprouted ears, in addition to her human ears. Now here's the question, folks. Where do you stand on Kimono Mimi with human ears? Yes or no? I am personally in the camp where even if it's strange, I prefer them to not have human ears if they have ears on the top of their head. Just from a biological standpoint, it doesn't make any sense for there to be two redundant set of ears, even if it also doesn't make much sense for their ears to be on the top of their head, other than, like, their ear canals run down their temple or something to, you know, where their eardrums are, and it's just like a long tube. Whatever. I don't care about the mechanics of it. Just only one set of ears, please. Thank you. Of course, that only applies if they're real ears. If they're fake ears, then, you know, whatever. Make do. She glares at me like a pouting cat.
何よ、勝手なことばっかり言って。
Main character privilege.
だいたいいるだけで目立つってどうしてよ。私、外見は人間と変わらないでしょ。
You know, it may be current era that the game is taking in, but Japan is still, like, a fucking, like, 98%, like, homogenous country. And, like, even then, like, one of those percents is other Asians that don't stand out very much. And then you get, like, the other 1% being Brazilians or something, because Japan actually has a rather large population of Brazilian diaspora. If you don't know, I highly recommend reading up on the history of, like, Japanese colonization efforts in South America. Super interesting. It's neat. Interesting history that doesn't get talked about or thought about very much, but then, you know, it makes some things click into place when you look at, like, geez, why is there such a large population of Brazilians in Japan? Or why does South America have a strangely high number of people from Japanese descent? It explains some things, and as far as you know, American colonization goes, the Japanese efforts in it were fairly benign, mainly because it happened in, like, the mid to late 1800s when most of that shit was already sorted out. So it's not like it was settler colonialism. It's a little more complicated than that, but still an interesting topic nonetheless. Moving on. Tangent over.
美人はいるだけで目立つんだよ。人間であるかどうかなんて関係ない。
Oh. I reply to her frankly. Maybe it's because they gave her a straight answer, but Arcueid readily accepts it.
まあ、こっちも言い過ぎた。こういう修羅場は初めてだったから、気が動転してたんだ。
別にいいよ。悪かったのは私の方みたいだし。
Arcueid bows her head in a show of honest remorse. Somehow, I'm starting to feel guilty for thinking she may have had an ulterior motive. Yeah, she just came to have you
ど
watch
う
this
してうち
cat
に
for
来
the
たり
night.
したんだ？
You know, nothing strange, nothing weird will go on because of it, but
いや、俺もお前に話があったから渡りに船だけど。
and don't ask any particulars about what the cat is or does.
そうなの？私は単に四季はどうしてるのかなって様子を見に来ただけなんだけど。
God, we need to get you a cell phone.
そうか、興味本位
Actually,
か。
that's a terrible idea. Never give Arcueid
次
a
は木
fucking
の
cell
陰にでも
phone.
隠れて、こっそり見に来てくれ。できるだけ
Like
誰にも見
absolute
つからないように。
unrestricted access to the
で
internet.
きれば、俺にも見つからないように。
Fucking TikTok brain rot Arcueid. Ugh. I feel exhausted all of a sudden. Though this isn't exactly the first time I've been caught up in one of Arcueid's little whims. And the fact that she didn't tell Akia anything means she at least put some consideration on my position here.
ともかくだ。真剣に話したいことがある。ここじゃ落ち着かないから場所を変えたいんだけど、いいか？
いいけど、話って何よ？
すぐにわかる。
Oh, you know, just vampire
そう
things.
だな。そろそろ人気もなくなるし、公園あたりがいいかもしれない。
Yeah, let's go to the murder park. I motion towards the road and start walking. Arcueid tilts her head in curiosity, but follows after me without a word. Though I suppose in this timeline, it's just kind of a regular park. Because, you know, the murder hasn't happened here. I think. And I'm
話って
pretty sure
何な
none
の？
of
四
the,
季。
you know, vampire serial killer murders happened at this park, at least not yet.
吸血鬼のこと。お前、前に言ったよな。
Mm-hmm. Arcueid nods.
それじゃあ、今朝のニュースで新しい犠牲者が出たっていうのは知ってるか？
Yup.
昨日の夜に通り魔に殺されて血を抜かれたらしいんだけど。
She narrows her eyes. I can tell I've stepped on thin ice. One wrong step and it will be the end of me. Oh, that sounds very accusatory.
それでって、
Mm-hmm.
お前、
I swallow nervously. Arcueid peers right at me. Her eyes tell me she's ready to pounce at the slightest movement.
おかしいじゃないか、アルクエイド。
Yeah, we took out the vampire, right?
ブローブは死んだ。なのに、どうしてまだ吸血鬼騒ぎが起こる？まさかとは思うけど、あれは、お前が。
If this is your doing,
はあ、もうそんなわけないでしょ。それは私じゃなくて他の吸血鬼の仕業よ。
Arcueid interjects, slicing through the tension. You're just getting worked up on your own here, bud. A strange happiness wells up in my throat. But I shouldn't get my hopes up yet. It's great that it was another vampire, but there's still a couple things that don't make sense.
他の吸血鬼の仕業って、そう次から次へと吸血鬼が出てくるのか？ブローブの
Oh, sorry, Shiki.
まさかあの事件は初めから一人の吸血鬼の仕業よ。
Mm-hmm. I was reaching for my my mug of tea, and because I'm an uncoordinated oaf, as I was reaching out, I also pulled down on the joystick to advance the text, like one of those people who can't hop on one foot and pat their head and rub their stomach at the same time, without like rubbing their head and patting their stomach. You know, it just as soon as I moved one way, my other hand also moved. Look, man, it's late. It's the end of the day. I say that it's only 5 p.m., but I worked today. I actually did work, so well, teaching work, but it's a lot of teaching.
この町を食い物にする新しい吸血鬼なんてやってこないし、ブローブだってあの事件には全く関係ないわ。
Vlav was never connected?
関係ないって、それどういう意味だよ？
Yeah, he just happened to roll into town.
言った通りの意味だけど。 式って切れるようでどこか抜けてるのね。いい？確かにブローブは吸血鬼だったけど、あいつは人の血を吸っていた？
I mean, he more just like, I mean, he did. We saw it in the hotel. Like, he fucking sucked up that fucking woman like she was a Capri Sun. And then just like tossed her skin to the wind. Kind of like Slayer does in Guilty Gear, but his wife actually likes it. She's like into it. And then she gets better, so then they can do it again. Look, man, it's their thing. They're just living their life. I'm not gonna comment on it. But hey, man, if it makes both of them happy, good for them. But in this case, that woman with love, she was very much not into it and not happy. Consent is important.
吸っていたかって当然だろ。あいつはあんなに人間を片っ端から燃やして。
Ding, ding, ding. There'd be no bodies left. So that's it. I didn't notice something so obvious. Bodies left behind by the serial killer had been drained of blood, but they were otherwise unscathed. But Vlav was different. He burned his victims. He drank their blood too, but draining them was never his modus operandi. Come to think of it, the victims at the hotel weren't connected to the serial murders. They were treated as casualties of a fire. Which means Vlav must not have any connection to the serial murders to begin with.
待ってくれ。じゃあ吸血殺人事件は何なんだ？
There's the rub, ain't it?
一体どこの誰があんな真似をしてやがる？
だからあの事件はブローブとは別の吸血鬼の仕業なの。私はその吸血鬼を殺すためにこの町にやってきたわ。
And you being here drew in Vlav. Kind of an unfortunate chain
ブローブが
reaction.
来た理由はちょっとあやふやになってきたわね。てっきり私を追いかけてきた一人かと思ったけど、ブローブにはそれだけの理性、使徒社会における協調性はなかったみたいだし。
Well, that's strange.
ま、そのあたりはもういいか。
It
ブローブ
makes
は死ん
sense
だんだし。
why Nero was here, because, you know, he's fucking best buds with Roa, you know, bros for life. They're, I was about to say heterosexual life partners, but, you know, considering Roa's power set, it doesn't need to be heterosexual. They can be, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you know how Roa works. Fucking serpent shit, dude. Moving on. Most of the time they're the homosexual life partners, but some cases they can be heterosexual life partners. It's fucking magic, dude. I don't gotta explain shit.
とにかくブローブとこの町に救っている吸血鬼は別物よ。ブローブは正真正銘無関係の第三者。私標的がブローブだなんて言わなかったでしょ。
Mm-hmm. Well,
ブローブにとっての標的は私だったけど、私にとっての標的はこの町で通り魔と言われている吸血鬼だけよ。
look, man. Context clues, making basic assumptions. I wouldn't even call it a leap of logic. It's more just connecting the dots. Be like, oh, you're here to get the vampire. Vlav is a vampire. 1 + 1 = 2. A to B = C. Everything tracks. No need to clarify. We're on the same page. Clearly, vampires aren't that common, so it's not like there'd ever be 2 or potentially 3, now 4 in the same places at once. Would there?
式まさかとは思うけど、ものすごく単純な勘違いしてたとか。
He did. I swallow nervously. Arcueid's right, though. She said her goal was to kill the vampire, which I just assumed was Vlad.
それじゃあ何か？
Yeah, that was a side
あ
quest.
の夜ブローブと殺し合ったのは無意味なことだったっていうの？
Mm-hmm.
無意味じゃないわ。式は私の代わりに戦ってくれたんじゃない。
Yeah, you acquired
ま、
oomph.
式さえ私を殺さなかったらその必要もなかったでしょうけど。
Look, what kind of friend doesn't try to kill you every now and again, right? Keeps you on your toes. The exhaustion hits me such that it feels like my knees will give out at any second. It was all pointless. Killing Vlav changed nothing in the end. There's still a vampire in the town, and even if it was just for a split second, I tried to pin the blame on Arcueid. Shit. Disappointment and self-loathing swirl around in my head.
悪い。しつこいけど、最後に確認させてくれ。ブローブは吸血鬼殺人には関係なくて、ここ1ヶ月街を騒がしているのは別の吸血鬼ってことだな。
Nope.
うん、そういうこと。でも、
Well,
これ
nope
は
to
私が済ませ
be
る
yes,
問題
that
だ
it
から
wasn't him.
式は気にしないでいいよ。そんなことよりね
Arcueid looks up at me, a smile, a wide smile brimming across her face.
なんだよ。言っておくけど、ものすごく余裕がないぞ、俺。
My feelings are all over the place right now. Anything she says could knock me right off my feet.
ちょっとした疑問よ。二人でブローブを倒した時のこと。ねえ、なんで3分だったの？
Thought he'd freeze to death?
なんでって何が？
式、3分しか時間はないって言ってたじゃない。どうして3分なのか全然わからなくて。
Because he was standing in the fucking AoE puddle?
あのな、
Fucking taking
言っただ
dots?
ろ。あそこは海の底みたいなものだって。だから3分しか無理だって言ったんだ。
海の底だと3分なの？
Well, no, humans would die instantly. Well, that was a close one. If I was feeling my usual self, I would have shot back with something snarky.
まあ、そうだよ。
Yeah,
人
you're
間はお
literally
前み
built
たいなの
different.
と違って、それぐらいしか水に潜っていられないの。
We're surprisingly good at diving, though.
何よ。
Actually,
私だってちょ
most
っとは寒かっ
mammals
たわ。
are. It's something called the mammalian diving reflex. If you've ever gotten into the shower and dipped your head in cold water, and you feel kind of like that shock running through your body, that's literally your body switching on a diving mode. Like your heart rate slows down. I'm pretty sure your body pulls blood from the extremities, kind of like you're cold. It's very interesting. Again, read up on it. I'm giving you a lot of homework today, but self-improvement is a never-ending road. It's not about reaching a goal. It's about bettering yourself. And you should always be striving for self-improvement. So, fucking watch a YouTube video about it. I don't know.
海の底だって何時間も潜ってたら退屈だし。
I was chilly, she says. Meanwhile, I generally thought I was dead.
下を向いてどうしたの？
いや、ちょっとめまいがして。気にしなくていや、気にしてくれ。実際海に潜ったら3分だって怪しいからな。人間はか弱いんだから、頑丈なお前と一緒にするな。吸血鬼は吸血鬼同士、我慢比べでもやっててくれ。
Again, humans are one of the best endurance animals on the planet. I wave Arcueid off with one hand as I cradle my head with the other.
ま、今さら言っても始まらないか。お前たちが化け物じみてるのは身に染みてるし。いい。ブローブのことは俺がバカだった。
Oh, she's mad.
それよりアルクエイド。
I calm myself and begin to say something, but when I look up... What's with that expression on her face? It's like she just bit into something sour.
アルクエイド。
何よ、式の意地悪。どうせ私は人間じゃないですよーだ。
Arcueid turns the other way in a huff and starts walking.
おい、ちょっと待て。どこ行く気？
人間な式には関係ない。ついてこ
Oh,
ないで
don't
よ
take it
ね。
like that. We weren't being speciesist, I guess if you could even call true ancestors of different species. If Earth elemental spirits can even be classified taxonomically, I have no idea. Arcueid storms off without even a glance in my direction. She seems genuinely upset. Man, where's she going? Must have struck a nerve. Looking back, maybe I was being a little unfair.
いや、でも、そんな悪口言ってないぞ。
Yeah, man, but sometimes the truth hurts. Did I? Considering how mad she is, I feel like I must have earned it. Like, really earned it. In fact, I kind of feel like an asshole.
ああ、もう、悪かった。今のは俺が悪かった。だから待て、止まれってば。
I'm trying not to talk. The big siren's going off behind me. You can probably hear it now that I'm talking. And my mic has registered. Ah, yes, you were speaking. Let's tone down the noise canceling. It's really loud today. If I take off my one earbud, I can hear it pretty good. I have no idea why some days it's louder than others. It's not like, oh, the wind is blowing this way because it's so far away, it's carrying the sound waves and I can hear it better. I'm literally on the same block as it. It's gonna sound the same fucking no matter what. It's very strange. But it seems like it's gonna be going for a while, so I'll keep talking. I rush after the white silhouette in front of me. Not just because I feel guilty. In case she's forgotten, we still have important things to discuss. Arcueid walks through the night, full of purpose. Her golden hair flutters in the air. She looks the same as she did when I first laid eyes on her. The same as when she first faced Vlav amid the collapsed rubble. Gone is the tenderness I felt a second ago. She has the air of a hunter stalking her prey. Her movements now sharp and deliberate.
Arcueid.
Arcueid doesn't respond. She continues marching forward.
話を聞けって。どこに行くつもりだよ。
The white huntress doesn't stop. I can't back down. But I also can't manage to do anything else for now, so I follow behind her silently. Tap, tap, tap. We walk in complete silence except for the sound of our footsteps. Until, that is, Arcueid comes to an abrupt halt and turns towards me.
ついてこないで。あなたみたいな普通の人間にいられると迷惑だって。
Aw,
わ
don't be
からな
like
い。
that.
人間で悪かったな。何をしているのか教えてくれたら帰るよ。
Yeah, well, think about who tracked that, poor pathetic human into this to begin with, huh?
式には関係ないからほっといて。
Arcueid twirls around and begins walking again. Well, damn. Ah, looks like I'm getting the silent treatment again. Just go buy her a burger or something, filled with the taste of slaughter. That'll win you over. She's like a stray dog, yeah? We leave the shopping district and come to an underpass where Arcueid stops suddenly.
見つけた。
Arcueid's voice is cold. She sounds like a completely different person. A shiver trickles down my spine. Even from behind, I can tell by her posture how ready she is to fight.
何を
Doing. I don't say it. I know exactly what she's doing without having to ask. A pure, unbridled hostility flows from her, freezing the air.
おい、何考えてるんだ、お前。
Arcueid doesn't answer. Her gaze is fixed on a perfectly normal-looking man in a suit.
式。メガネを外してあの人間を見てみなさい。
あの人間って、前にいるあの男。
Who, that tired-looking businessman?
早く。私が何をしているか知りたいのなら質問は後よ。
あんまり街中で見たくはないんだけど。
I removed my glasses. Ooh, buddy, that's a lot of lines. He must be working a lot of unpaid overtime to be that close to death, huh? My temples throb. In exchange for the pain, the lines running across the ground and the walls come dimly into view.
確認しておくけど、あなたの線は生物の方がはっきり見える。
ああ、その方がより確かに見える。
Yeah, they're bright red, you know, fucking attack the weak point for massive damage.
でしょうね。あなたは生物だから鉱物の死を理解できない。形の上の摩耗というカテゴリーの結果は見えても、鉱物たちにとっての終わりは見えない。そのためには彼らと同じ視点、同じ価値観を得なくてはいけない。死を見るためには命を理解しないといけないから。それじゃあついでに聞くけど、今の式から見てあの人間はどんな感じ？
I don't see how he'd be any different. I step back by reflex. What is that? Every human being has lines on them. Most only have a few, though, which gently trace their bodies in geometric patterns. But what the fuck is that? Lines are scrawled over his entire body, like bulging veins and arteries. The man's covered in them. Can't even see what he looks like under them all. I want to throw up. He's backwards. It's not a person with lines. It's as if the lines themselves have assumed a human form.
式にはどう見える？私としては式には普通の人間に見えていてほしいんだけど。
No response. It's just a corpse. I'm unable to give Arcueid an answer. It takes all my focus to not vomit.
そう。残念ね。式はあれにも死を見てしまっているなんて。
Ah, it's great. It means you can just swing willy-nilly and get him.
あ、なんか普通とは違う。けど線は見えてる。
やっぱり死者さえ殺せるのね、あなたは。
Yeah, a little more concept. I mean, a little more tricky to visualize or, you know, internalize the concept of killing something that is already dead.
命があるなしの問題さえ無関係。動いているもの、破壊できるものなら例外なく停止させる。何よ、本当の化け物はあなたの方じゃない。
Yeah. He who hunts monsters must beware of becoming a monster yourself. Stare into the abyss. Yeah, all the philosophical shit.
式が見ている通り、あれはもう人間とは呼べないわ。死という負債を他人の血でごまかし続ける吸血鬼だから。
Just a little fucking minion, though. You're just looking for a banana. Arcueid quickens her pace. She makes a beeline for the unexceptional looking man.
おい、アルクエイド。
式はそこにいて。
The man disappears from sight, perhaps becoming aware of Arcueid. Or to be precise, the thing leaped away with inhuman speed. He flees deeper into the safety of the darkness beneath the tracks. Arcueid is already nowhere to be seen. She's left the refuge of the rusted lights to follow the man into the darkness. Now, when you say tracks, are we like under like a subway line, or because that's a road next to us? Unless on the other side of the road, behind those pillars, is, you know, where the train runs. Thump. I can feel my heartbeat in my ears. It's still early in the evening. A car passes by with its headlights blazing. Ah, yes, a Mercedes with their fucking high beams on. It'd be an asshole behind you in traffic. A train rattles along overhead. Okay, so this is like a little underpass. Despite all the noise, I lose my sense of anyone around me. Thump! My glasses. I need to get my glasses back on now. If I don't, I'll see something far worse. Something so dark, so terrifying, it'll make the things I've seen pale in comparison. Bump. But my body won't move. My eyes eagerly gaze into the darkness, as if drawn to the patchwork world that Arcueid has entered. I blink, and silence envelops me. The wind, even the smell of the earth. It's like everything has been frozen in place. Screeching. Under the ice-cold moon, an eerie noise emanates from beyond the shadows. Grinding. I shouldn't be able to see anything, or even hear. Squelching. But I did see it. My eyes catch a glimpse of the moment death meets death. My vision turns vermilion. How is it possible that these eyes see death even in pitch darkness? Yeah, that was honestly one of my questions about his eyes. Do they detect, can you see the lines on things that you can't see? Like that your, the rods and cones in your eyes don't perceive because of, like, light conditions? It's like, if you're in a dark room and you take off the glasses, can you see, the table, the chair, and the vase on the table in pitch darkness by their lines, just that they are there? My glasses. If I don't get them on this minute, I think I'll lose it. Fighting off the urge to vomit, I slip on my glasses with trembling hands. As I fight back hiccups as I get more tea. Because I just had an early dinner before I started recording. Some nice jerk chicken from a Caribbean place near me. It was very good. Same with their yams. Those were like some really good yams. Light and sound return. I steel myself and scan my surroundings, but find nothing out of place under the tracks. Nobody around. A couple cars maybe, but it's still just a normal city at night. A pocket of civilization where humans can live, sheltered from danger. An oasis where no harm shall ever befall them. I have trouble breathing. Even with my glasses on, the creature's death lingers in my peripheral vision, making me sick.
Arcueid.
Out of the darkness emerges Arcueid, her footsteps unsteady. She's breathing even harder than I am.
四季そっかまだ残ってたんだ
Yeah, it's hard to walk when you're, like, choking down the urge to vomit. Arcueid averts her grimacing face and sways past me. Her steps seem weak and frail. To be honest, I still haven't gotten over my own nausea. Seeing Arcueid in such pain, that's now the least of my worries.
待てよ。一体どうしたんだお前。
I grab Arcueid's shoulders as she tries to leave. Arcueid turns slowly, her eyes flat.
大丈夫よ少し疲れただけだから構わないで
Man, you really had to exert yourself that much to fucking squish a mook?
四季には全然関係がないんだから
バカ。疲れているなら休め。変に汗かいてるし、どう見ても重症だぞ。
I take hold of her arm as I try to control my own breathing.
何よそういう四季だって今にも倒れそうな顔してる
I mean, to be fair, it has been a day since she got her shit absolutely rocked by Vlav.
俺のはただの貧血。いつものことだ。人を気にしてる余裕があるなら自分の体も気遣えよ。
いいのよどうせ気遣っても無駄なんだから
I'm in the middle of a yawn. Ugh. Arcueid's breathing is so weak, it pains me to hear.
まさかお前あの時の傷
I can't finish the question. She got that wound protecting me. Arcueid cast her eyes downward, refusing to answer. That must be a yes.
もう何度言わせるんだこのバカそんな体でおとなしくできないのか
おとなしくしてるつもり
Okay, fair. You're not used to operating at, 30% capacity.
全然してない人間離れしてるからって治りきってないのに出歩くやつがいるか
This is making me realize just how angry I am. I can't let her do this. I can't abandon her, no matter how much trouble she is.
お前本当に何してんだよ
Well, she's gotta kill all the vampires.
ほら黙ってないで答えろ話してくれるまでお前から離れないからな
I grab her by the shoulders. Her eyes remain downcast, but she manages a slight nod.
割としつこいのねあなたっていいわそれじゃあ場所を変えましょうどのみちさっきのも外れだったみたいだし
Arcueid brushes away my hands and spins on her heel. We're not headed for the shopping district, it seems. Instead, she guides me towards the park. Because we've already drawn that background, and we don't want to have to draw other ones. We arrive soon enough. Did her injuries heal on the way here? She seems to be back to her usual self, while now she's out in the moonlight.
あっさり元に戻ってるしもしかしてさっきは油断して傷を負ったとかいうオチじゃないだろうな
違うよ傷が治りかけなのは本当だってば
治りかけなのは本当だ本当じゃないことも言ったってことだよな
Well, was a couple of white
何
lies
その言い
between
方
friends, huh?
すっごくいやらしいんですけど
お前の言動が怪しすぎるんだよ文句があるならさっき何をしてたのか話してみろ大方予想はついてる
Yeah,
けど
why'd you kill that poor,
何をあんな痛がってたんだ
fucking wage slave businessman, that poor salaryman just on his way home to his family?
さてそれじゃあ式のお望み通り私が何をしていたかを話してあげましょう
Hooray! She's clearly doing this to change the topic. Then again, this is what I wanted to know. As she's feeling can wait for the time being.
じゃあ確認からさせてくれさっきのやつは吸血鬼の手足になってる死者だな
A little higher than a zombie, I'm pretty sure.
あれの大元がお前の本当の敵
なんと今度は話が早いのね式
そいつはどうも俺だって少しは
Well,
頭
no,
は
he
回る
can
か
still
ら
be
ね
a zombie. I was thinking
さっきの話
ghouls
で
were like the fucking
大体の
flaming,
事情は
like,
飲み込めている
fucking Resident Evil zombies.
良きかな良きかな
Or we're ghouls above zombies. Sorry, Ark. I've already brain dumped your nice explanation you gave us.
式の可愛い勘違いはブローブのことだけってことね
可愛いって言うな仕方ないだろあの時は自分のことだけで手一杯だったんだから
ふん
Mm-hmm.
自分のことだけで手一杯ね
You would have been fine on your own.
そういうことにしておいてあげましょう
Arcueid twirls around like there's something fun about all this, and peers in my face. What's with her?
いいから話さっきの男はもうとっくに死んでいたんだな
Yeah, in a sense.
そうよあれはあいつのしもべだから始末しただけ下級の使者だったけどそれでも放っておくと人間を殺して力を蓄えられてしまうから式ホテルで話した吸血鬼の話覚えてる
Yeah, ghouls, zombies, then the other ones. Of course, I nod. The ecology of vampires. Castellans? Castellans? I'm actually not sure where the pronunciation is on that. Google, can you help me? Is that a real word? You know, I assume it's like a one who resides in a castle or something, because vampires, you know, make their domain, yada yada yada. Castellan. I got a baseball player because it auto-corrected to Castellanos. That looks like a 40k thing.
Castellan.
Yes, it is Castellan. Thank you, English, for being pronounced usually exactly how it looks when it's actually English root words instead of French words taken into English with still their slightly French pronunciations, but then they've also been altered over time into English.
Castellan.
Castellan, so Castell-in. Yep, Castellan, cool. And the hierarchy of their subjects. Sires hunt and kill humans to turn them into their minions. They then hide away while those minions gather blood for them. Arcueid also spoke about the difference between Castellans and the older types of vampires. Immortal, weak to the sun, the stereotypical vampire.
それはもう教えてもらった。じゃあ、お前の追っている敵とやらが殺人事件の吸血鬼で間違いないんだな。
ええ、間違いないわ。たとえあいつが手を下したのは最初の一人だけだとしても、そこから発生した死者たちの殺人は全部あいつの成果になる。だから。
さっきみたいに街を歩き回って吸血鬼のしもべを探していた。
Yep, you know, gotta squash them when you come across them, but what's the end goal? You gonna like follow one back to the lair? Is that the end goal? そうすれば親の居場所がわかるのか? Or you kill enough and then maybe try to draw them out?
強く親に結びついたしもべならね。けど今のところ外ればっかり。棺。敵の潜伏場所が見つからないのはそれだけ多くの死者を使っているからよ。
Well, that's not good.
あいつが自分の手を汚すのは数回だけ。あとは死者にした人間を操って自分は眠っているだけで領地を広げていく。
Damn, living the good life, huh?
この町の犠牲者は100人を超え
Maybe I
て
should become a vampire.
あなたたちが騒いでいる犠牲者なんて人知れずいなくなった人間の一部分に過ぎないわ。
Hearing it all again makes my blood run cold. 2 days ago, I thought Vlad was the cause of all this. And being able to channel all these emotions into killing him is what kept me sane. This time is different. The murders continue. More than 100 victims attacked, drained of blood, and killed by former humans. But then they've robbed... What? But then they're robbed of their rest. They become walking corpses like that clump of lines, and are made to prowl the town for more victims. It was just 3 days ago. I recall the people annihilated at the hotel. Though I was there too, I wasn't able to witness their final moments. That's why I can only imagine the butchery that took place that night. It's no different now. It's hard to fully accept the notion that there's a vampire out there thirsting for human blood, all for the sake of stretching the boundaries of its domain. Well, the domain thing's kind of secondary. They're more concerned about prolonging their lifespan and staying alive. It's just, you know, the one comes with the other. But it does beg the question, how would I feel if, without the slightest warning, one of my loved ones was killed in such a horrific way? It's a morbid thing to consider, that's to be sure, but I pondered for a second. I picture Akia having her blood drained and being tossed away like garbage. Breath hisses between my teeth as I try to rid myself of the vertigo gnawing at my brain. The very thought of that should enrage me, yet I feel strangely cold. Now's the time to think, not the time to let my emotions run rampant, I tell myself. The fact is, there's a very real possibility that this could come to pass as soon as tomorrow. It's pitiful that I never realized just how much danger we were in. But I can chastise myself for that later.
やっぱり怒ったわね、四季。
I mean, you say that, but Akia is relatively isolated from the city. She commutes to and from school in, like, the district over, in the fucking prefecture over. It doesn't really leave the mansion. It's not like she's going downtown shopping. I imagine she either, one, would just send Kohaku out, you know, to get the necessities, because that's her fucking job, or it just orders something delivered to her house.
私があなたに話したくなかったのは、これは捕食される側、人間にとってどしがたいものだからよ。四季にしてみれば、吸血鬼の行為は認められないものでしょうから。
She's right. Morality and correctness have nothing to do with this. I just can't accept what they do. Even if the victims were complete strangers to me, each of them had a past and a future to call their own, all of which were dashed in an instant. I may not know what those lives were like. That doesn't make them cheap commodities to be used and discarded. I wouldn't want to die like that, at the whim of some creature. It's just too cruel. Cruel and wrong. It's also meaningless.
でも安心していいよ、四季。吸血鬼たちの天敵はこの国にはいないみたいだけど、今は私がちゃんといるんだから。
What's the vampire's natural predator? Like, I know you mean like the church, but I'm thinking of that, God, I can't remember where it was, but there was a post where it's like, I think it was like Shower Thoughts or something, like, all of Spider-Man's, you know, villains are the natural predators of the spider. And it's like, ah, yes, the goblin, the natural predator of the spider, or the octopus, the spider's natural enemy. And it's like, I'm thinking of like, would vampires fight with goblins? I don't know. I feel like they'd get along fine. I feel like the goblins would just naturally fall in line as like minions beneath the vampire, but yeah, goblins. Isn't it fucked up that a goblet is a cup and not a tiny goblin?
言ったでしょ。私の目的は町を犯している吸血鬼を退治することだって。
Arcueid brightens in a flash, a far cry from her attitude a moment ago. Honestly, her words make me feel a lot better. I know just how incredible she is, and how far she'll go to protect humans. She shielded us from Vlov's ice without a thought for herself. But that also gives me pause. An obvious question I've had since even before the fight with Vlov.
それがわからない。
Yeah, why would a vampire kill vampires?
アルクエイドだって吸血鬼なんだろ。どうしてそんな人間の味方みたいなことをするんだよ。
Oh, because it's kind of her job.
私、別に人間の味方をしているわけじゃないよ。それ以外にやることがないからやってるだけだもの。
I forget the specifics of it, but she just has nothing better to do?
ま、そんなことをやっているから
fucking
狙わ
real
れ
white
るんでしょ
savior
うけ
arc
ど。
you're on right now, Arc. Get
そ
off
こ
your
は
high
それ、
horse.
必要経費みたいなものかしら。
You see, because she's their savior, but they also refer to her as the white woman a lot. But not like that. Not like that white. It's because she wears a white turtleneck. She's the white woman. And she's the savior, so she's the white savior.
いや、お前の言いたいことはまるでわからないけど、その例えだけは間違ってるぞ、きっと。
Yeah.
まあまあ、細かいことは気にしないで。そんな引く手あまた、ヘイトいっぱいな私だったけど、シキがブローブを倒してくれたでしょ。これで障害は何もなくなったわ。
Yeah, you know, if anyone saw that, I'm sure you're on all sorts of radars now.
あとは
They
この
can't
町に
possibly
潜んで
come
いる
back to
敵を
bite
見
you
つ
in
け
the
て
ass later.
なんとか始末してみせるから。シキは今まで通り普通の生活に戻って私たちなんかに関わらなくていいんだよ。
Hooray! Go back to my
あ
life of getting
うん
yelled at by my
あ、
sister
そりゃ
and,
嬉しいけど。
and
けど
fainting of anemia and getting Hisui mad at us because we bled all over the sheets or something. Great. And getting yelled at or fucking talked down to in our old house by fucking Psyche, fucking weird bandage man who I keep forgetting exists. Are you really sure you'll be okay on your own? The words form in the back of my mind, but I shake my head to send them away. Something must be wrong with me. Why should I care if she winds up getting herself into danger?
シキ？何よ、また難しい顔しちゃって。
That's just how his face looks.
シキの聞きたい話ってこれで終わりでしょ？他には何もないと思うけど。
I mean, I have 1,000 more questions, but right now...
バカ。そりゃ難しい顔ぐらいする。これは俺たちが住んでいる町の問題なんだから。
だから気にしなくていいんだって。これからは毎日街を見て回って、もうこれ以上犠牲者は出さないようにするし。
Yeah, but there's only one of you, and you said over 100 minions, so I can see an issue with your plan here just from basic maths.
それとも、そんなに私の性能を信用できない？
I mean, I don't think it's an issue of strength. I think it's literally just a numbers issue, you know? Like, you can squash one the instant you see it, but, you know, if you only see one a night and there's 99 others and, you know, they each make at least one more, or, you know, even half that, if they only make two more, you're already losing the numbers game. I really don't want to get involved. But protecting this city should be the responsibility of someone who lives here, not Arcueid.
アルクエイド、その、お前の言う敵は強いのか？あのブローブよりもっと。
I mean, he's got honest mids.
まさか、ブローブはああ見えてもその一人よ。この町に救った吸血鬼は、ブローブより純度は落ちるわ。
It's a bit of a tricky case, but...
そうか。ならお前がやられることはないんだな。
断言はできないわね。ちょっと前までの私なら問題なかったと思うけど、今の私は病み上がりだもの。敵の方が力をつけている可能性が高いわ。
Hold on just a second. I nodded along without really thinking about about what she said. Arcueid is on the mend?
いやいや、風邪でもひいたのかお前。というか吸血鬼って風邪ひくのか？
I think she meant from when you killed her, bud.
ええ、とんでもなく野蛮な通り魔を一つね。塔の式っていう名前の悪質なウイルスなんだけど、ご存知かしら？
No, that sounds dangerous.
ああ、いや、それはその、ごめんなさい。
Is there a vaccine for it? Pretty sure I just kicked the hornet's nest.
冗談よ。式の傷はもう治ってるわ。ただちょっと
Fucking
治すの
bold-faced
に想定以
lies.
上の力を使って疲れてるだけ。痛いのはブローブから受けた傷の方。こっちはまだ外を塞いでいるだけだから。
So can we talk more about Vlov's, like, conceptual weapon spear thing he hit you with? Arcueid touches her stomach lightly. I'm responsible for that wound too. She only got it because she was protecting me. I'm at a loss. All of Arcueid's pain has been my fault. So then why? Why doesn't she even hold the slightest grudge? How could she smile at me so innocently?
やめろよ。せめて傷が治るまでどこかで休んでればいいじゃないか。
ダメよ。ブローブと戦ったことで 敵も私が来たことに気づいているはずだもの。
Yeah, hard
休
to
んだ
lay
りしたら
low after
そ
something
れ
like
こそ
that.
私が弱っていると知らせるようなものだわ。
だからって今夜みたいな真似を続けていくのか？
ええ、敵の居場所がわからない以上、あいつに血を送っている死者を片っ端から潰していくしかない。
That sounds really ineffective.
そうして血の供給源を断てば、本体が直に血を吸いに現れる。
それがもし明日だったらどうするんだ？弱っているのを隠したところで、そんな体じゃ逆に殺されるようなものなんだろう。
You know, not if she wins. I stopped short of telling her not to push herself and stare at my feet. Arcueid is right. If she shows even a hint of weakness, the vampire will come to kill her regardless. These last 2 days have taught me something. When it comes to fighting, Arcueid can be brutal to the core. Rather than avoiding personal injury, her strategy is all about finding a surefire way to take down her enemy. She prioritizes her objective above all else. She doesn't force herself into believing anything but the truth. Arcueid isn't gonna stop. I won't get another chance to talk to her like this if I let her go. She's not scared of death. So why'd she have to smile like that? If I could have just not seen that smile. If she just acted more like a vampire, it wouldn't feel like this.
どうしたのシキ？体震わせちゃって、もしかしてトイレ？
Yeah, man, totally.
お前ってやつはどうして？
She's so carefree about all this. I lift my head. In front of me stands the woman in white. I can't pretend like none of this happened. I don't know what this feeling is, but I know I can't forget the 2 days we've spent together. That's why, if I leave her now, only for her to wind up dead tomorrow, I could never forgive myself.
勘弁してくれ。ただでさえ両目が壊れてるのに、頭まで壊れかけてる。
Mm-hmm. Women make you stupid. It's a known scientific fact. I don't want to deal with vampires anymore. The fight with Vlaw flashes through my mind. Terror still lingers in my bones, enough to send a chill up my spine. It's the same now. This other vampire is supposed to be strong too. There's no need for me to involve myself. Arcueid says she can handle it, so I should just leave it to her. And yet, even though I know that's the logical thing to do, I can't let her do this alone.
ああ、もうどうかしちまったのか俺は。
I kick at the ground. More than anything, I'm pissed off at just how illogical I'm being. Should you really be kicking the ground, the guy with a fucking fractured leg?
何？どうしたのシキ？いきなり怒り出しちゃって。
I'm gonna assume, he kicked it with his good leg, but you know what I mean.
そりゃ怒りたくもなる。なんだって俺はあんな目にあったっていうのに、こんなたわごとを口にしようとしているのかって。
The idea of what I'm about to utter makes me dizzy. If I had a mirror in front of me, I'd give my reflection a smack in the face.
落ち着いて。普通じゃないわよ、あなた。
He's just a weird guy.
なあ、普通じゃないさ。普通じゃなかったらこんなこと、とても口にはできないだろう。
Cursing to myself, I scratch in my head like I could drag the words out. As much as I don't want to believe it, I've already decided. I said as much, didn't I?
もう全然わかんない。ちゃんと説明しなさい。さっきからこんなことって何がこんなことだって言うの？
だからお前の体が治りきるまで手伝ってやるって、そう言いたいんだよ俺は。
Arcueid looks taken aback. I finally got it out, in a way. Now that I've actually said the words, I start to calm down.
四季、今の本当？
Yeah, he likes being a sidekick. I groan. Even I still can't believe what I just said.
私、ちょっと聞き損ねちゃった。お願いだからもう一度言って。
One more time, right in my ear. You know, slow and steady so I can hear it good. Another groan. But it's too late to go back now. I stopped being able to lie to myself the second I said it.
早く。私、今のセリフもう一度聞きたい。
She urges me with a voice close to a whisper. Averting my gaze from her beaming face, I try my best to sound angry.
だからアルクエイドが弱ってるのは俺の責任だし、街にはびこってる化け物を放っておけないし。
Yeah, think about the property values.
弱っているお前一人じゃ頼りないから、俺でよかったら手伝ってやるって言った
I
んだ。
can't let the neighborhood go to shit.
四季。
Arcueid's eyes practically sparkle. She grabs my hand happily and shakes it up and down.
まあ、俺じゃ大した役には立たないだろうけど、いないよりはマシだろ。
Yeah, you know, you can at least throw them at the enemy and have them slow down for a half second as they turn them to fucking paste to get in your attack.
四季が手伝ってくれるなら怖いものなんて何もないんだから。
Arcueid continues, giving my hand a vigorous shaking. Considering her ridiculous strength, I'm honestly afraid my arm will come out of its socket before long. But I can't bring myself to stop her. How do I put it? She looks so happy. Honestly, truly happy. Seeing that, it makes me feel like maybe I've made the right choice after all, and despite how insane it sounds. By the time Arcueid finally releases me from our handshake, it's almost 9. My head hurts thinking about what will happen once I get home, but that won't be for a while, now that I've decided to lend my support. We've got a vampire hunt to plan.
それで、これからどうするんだ？
Well, first we gotta go to the grocery store and buy some, cloves of garlic.
やっぱり街を歩いて死者を探すのか？
そうね。
Gotta be
この町にいる
prepared
死者を全滅させれば親元の吸血鬼は出てこざるを得なくなるでしょうし、今はそれぐらいしか手はないけど。
Is that okay with you? Her eyes ask.
いいも何も、俺はアルクエイドに付き合うだけだ。餅は餅屋って言うし、専門家に従うよ。
And just as I say that, Arcueid looks at me with a wide grin on her face.
なんだよ。おかしなこと言ったか、俺。
四季、やけに素直だなって。
Look, it's important to know when to, give way to the subject matter expert, the SME, as they are called. Maybe I should start acting a little tougher. I have a feeling she'll be asking crazy stuff of me if I don't draw the line somewhere.
行くぞ。街を回ればいいんだろ。
Yep, all about
さっ
carrot
き
and
の
stick.
放火線したとか、もう一度調べてみるか。
あの区域はもういいわ。死者は互いに食い合わないよう、犠牲者の数を一区間に集中させないよう、それぞれ活動ルートを定めているの。一晩に食事をさせる死者の数は決まっている。今夜はさっきので打ち止めだと思うけど、せっ
Okay,
か
so
く
they
四季がいるんだ
take
し、
shifts.
もうちょっと探索してみましょうか。
互いに食い合わないようにか。本格的に統率されてるなら、もっと無差別なものかと思った。
No, then it'd be too obvious,
親元の吸血鬼にしてみれば、血液の採集は娯楽じゃなくて生存するための必要作業。
Take it very
仕事だもの。
seriously.
ルーチンワーク。
貴重な労働力ってわけか。でもそれだと向こうも手を打ってこないか。
Yup.
アルクエイドが数を減らしているんだから、ここから先は増員させるか、あるいは死者を引っ込めて姿を隠すとか。
基本的には出し渋る方でしょうね。
Mm-hmm.
けど吸血鬼である以上、どうしても他者から血や精を搾取しないと生存していられない。
Yeah, they'd be eventually forced to come out of hiding eventually.
親元は私に狙われていると分かっていても、最低限の食料を得るために死者を出すしかないってわけ。
I get it. Arcueid wants to starve them out. It'd be nearly impossible to find our target just by looking. So we'll have to flush them into the open. We'll cut off all their options, all their other options, and give them no choice but to go out and hunt for themselves. Once they make their move, Arcueid will be able to sense them. And that's when the real hunt begins. We're gonna stop this at the source, just like with the Vlav.
状況は分かった。とにかく夜になったら街を歩き回ってまだ活動している死者を見つければいいんだな。
ええ。
Mm-hmm.
それでシキ、あなたにはメガネを外してついてきてほしいんだけど、いい？
That's gonna be rough in the crowded segments of town.
メガネを外してってなんで？
I mean, because you'll be able to fucking pick out a vampire from a crowd, no problem.
その方が確実だから。
Yeah, you know, what if it's just a goth kid? Has Arcueid seen a goth before? She'll be like, oh, that person's definitely a vampire. And, you know, they're just a fucking Hot Topic employee. And she turns them into fucking chunky marinara sauce in an alleyway.
私は人間と人間じゃないものの気配を
It's like,
感じ取れる。
oops.
あなたは聖者と死者の違いが視覚情報として読み取れる。索敵方法は大いに越したことはないでしょ。
Arcueid's explanation makes sense. Plus, I'm the one who agreed to help, so there's no reason for me to decline. I just don't know if I'm comfortable with this.
あなたの体に大きく負担をかけることになるでしょうね。
Yeah, it kind of cooks his brain.
でも、いい機会だからもう一度だけ確認したいの。
Fucking just simmers like a scallop thrown onto a hot fucking frying pan.
士気が大丈夫だと判断するのなら、メガネを外してついてきて。
Now I just want scallops. Dude, I fucking love scallops. I love most seafood and shellfish, to be honest. It comes with growing up in a part of the country that's near the coast that has a long seafaring tradition and of harvesting seafood and shellfish. So, particularly some fucking lobsters, kid. That was one of the hardest things to adjust to once I was living in Washington. And you know, I was inland. I was like over in Spokane. If you don't know where that is, it's like right up against the border with Idaho. So that's like a 4-hour drive to the coast. You know, not a lot of fresh fish there, surprisingly. Like even like I'm talking fresh, you know. Like where I grew up, you go to Walmart. Walmart has an entire like fish section. It's got live lobsters in the tank. Fucking fresh clams and scallops on ice, like the works. But where I was, you know, you go to like a regular grocery store. It's like, all right, seafood. I got a frozen piece of cod, some bay scallops, which, if you don't know, those are the kind of icky, gross ones, and some random crab legs that say they've been packaged in fucking 2018 and it's currently like 2020. It's like, okay, I see how this is. Be better off fucking going out behind the house, going to like the lake and catch fish myself or something. Anyway, what were we saying, Arcueid? Something about vampires? She wants me to walk around town without my glasses, huh? In the 7 years since I've gotten these glasses, I never once tried to do that before. Looking at inanimate objects is enough to give me a headache, so it's not hard to imagine what strolling through town with my eyes exposed would do to me. But even so, it's like any muscle, you know, you gotta start working it out to make it stronger. It's okay. One little headache won't hurt me. Or kill me. Besides, a headache is nothing compared to what Arcueid has to deal with right now.
いいよ。メガネを外してついていく。それで型がつくって言うんなら安いもんだ。
そう。なら行きましょう。
Hooray, let's go kill something. I take a deep breath, remove my glasses, and set off into town. Whoa, whoa. Arcueid and I walk side by side through the crowds. It's the first time since I was hospitalized that I've walked around like this, with the lines in full view. I don't feel any dizziness as of yet. Simply seeing them doesn't give me much of a headache. But while I can look at the thin lines on the buildings just fine, even glimpses of the lines tracing the people we pass make me feel sick. Yeah, what happens if you get like really close to a line and try to like peek into it, you know, like looking into a crack? I'd imagine that'd be like, ugh. Disgust surges within me. It's not the sight of their line-covered bodies that makes me feel this way. It's the unwelcome knowledge that humans can die so easily that forces bile up my throat. Big yawn. We continue our search. Arcueid takes each step confidently, never saying a word. We spent about 2 hours checking prominent places close to the station. But in the end, we don't find anyone resembling that clump of lines from earlier. Yeah, all the mice heard the cat was out to play and they're like, oop, time to fucking go back to the burrow.
Shiki, メガネをかけていいわ。やっぱり、もう今夜の死者はいないみたい。
Whew. I put on my glasses. My vision returns to normal, and I breathe a sigh of long-awaited relief.
そんな簡単に見切りをつけていいのか？まだ1回しか街を見回ってないけど。
一度見回れば十分よ。気配っていうのはね、多少はその場所に残留するものなの。でも食料を調達する死者はさっきので最後だったのかも。ここからはもう一段階上の死者を潰していくわ。
不機嫌そうだな、アルクエイド。
Well, yeah, you know, it would have been nice if it's like, oh, we just found them all and took them all out in one night. And then it's like, tomorrow we'll just deal with the big bad and, you know, dust our hands of the issue and, you know, call it a day. But
当
really
然で
get a
しょ。
lot done.
せっかくシキがいてくれるのに空振りなんだもの。
Yeah, it's like when you go fishing.
かっこいいとこ見せようと思ったの。
You know, those days fucking sucked. You know, dad comes to wake you up at like fucking 4:30 to like go to the lake. And then you don't catch anything the entire day. And it's like, what the fuck? You know, we've been out here, you know, it's like we go back at like noon or something to like get lunch and then go home. And it's like not even a fucking nibble. Huh. Can't say I expected that to be the reason.
まあ、俺は無駄骨でも気にしないけど、そんなにご不満なら、もう一度街を回っても構わないぞ。
Hey, you know, just walk around, hang out a little bit.
俺
You
も
know,
今
get a
度は
lay
意
of the
識を
land.
集中してみる。もしかしたら何か見つけられるかもしれない。
ダメよ。今夜はこれ以上、あなたに無理はさせられない。
無理って、別に俺は無理なんか。
You're probably not doing so hot.
してるのよ。シキ本人は気がついてないだけ。今だって顔色すごく青いし。
And maybe get him like
ほ
a
ら、
Gatorade or
ベンチ
something
に
from
座
a
って
vending machine.
少しは楽になるんでしょ。
A nice Bakari sweat. She guides, or rather pushes me, down onto the bench. Truthfully, I'm about ready to throw up, so I take a seat for a bit. The relief is such that I accidentally let out a sigh. At least it wasn't a moan. All the tension I bottled up was released the moment I sat down. I guess I really was pushing myself too
あ
hard.
りがとう。助かった。でも、これぐらい今までの頭痛に比べたら軽度だぞ。意識を保っていられないめまいに比べれば危ないこともないんだし。
My nausea will fade if I breathe in the fresh night air. Next to Arcueid's wound, this is nothing. She doesn't need to worry so much about... Arcueid?
弱い生き物のくせに無理はしないで。失神しなければ軽度？それは間違いよ。あなたの目に軽いも重いもない。
Yeah, what happens if we go out and get into a fight and then you just pass out, you know, then you're just dead weight.
あまり見えないものを見ようとしないで。そんなに脳を酷使したら廃人になりかねないわ。
Knowing your limits is important.
って誰が？
あなたがよ。どうしてそんなに危機感がないの？こんな希少な魔眼持ちなのに平和主義者とか美味しい獲物にも程があるし。よく今まで生きてこられたわね。ひょいってつまんで食べられるわよ普通。
Oh yeah, like if some fucking, you know, mage with mage fucking morality knew you were there, they'd be like, ooh, fucking yoink, and fucking steal your eyeballs. Where on earth would that be normal? And hey, I'd appreciate it if she gave the nations of the world a little credit. Even if she wants to call us complacent, it's kind of amazing that law and order prevails as much as it does. You know, all thanks to
わかった。
American
あんまり
global
言いたく
hegemony,
な
of
かったけ
course.
ど、ちゃんと説明してあげる。いい？四季は生物の死は見やすくて、鉱物の死は見にくいって言ってたでしょ？それはね、結局はあなたの脳の回線の問題なの。
Yeah, it's natural that a living thing dies, but, you know, what does the death of a fucking guardrail, you know, on the side over there pertain? You know, a light post. It's like, I don't know, it's a little more abstract.
物の死、その因果を見るということは、実際は見ているではなく、読んでいるという意味合いに近いわ。
Yeah, you know, a person's life ends when they, you know, heart stops, brain stops functioning, just, you know, dead. It's like, yep, easy to comprehend.
すべての事象には大元になった原因。絶対この宇宙の始まりにしておしまいの地点。そこにはすべてを記録したものがある。記録というよりはあるものだから、情報とは言
Let's
えな
not
い。
get into the Akashic
ただある
record,
だけ。
please.
それ自体に意思はないし、
God, yep, the root.
方向性もありえない。原因を垂れ流しているだけの根源
I
の
don't
渦
want
み
to
たいな
talk
も
about the
のね。
root. It's always about the root, and it always fucking sucks. Nothing good ever happens from dealing with the root.
この世界にあるものはその渦から流れ派生して今の形に行き着いたわ。私も四季も吸血種も人間も元はそこから始まった原子に過ぎない。もう離れすぎ複雑になりすぎてしまって原因である始まりに戻ることはできないけど、とにかくそういった位置があるのはわか
Everything
るで
has
し
a
ょ。
beginning.
でもね、たとえどんなに大元からかけ離れた形になっても派生した存在である以上、とても細い線だけど糸はつながっているのよ。すべての根源、すべての始まりと終わりを記録したレコード。
Mm-hmm. And if you get close to it, the fucking counterforce kills you.
それとつながっているものは物事の終わりを知っていることになる。
Though, with how the Nasuverse has changed over time, like, how it originally was, you know, the fucking world of servants and, you know, the Tsukihime world. It's like, which one is stronger, you know, fucking Gaia or, you know, oh god, what's the will of humanity called? I know it's not Akasha, it's like Akela, something like that. You know what I mean? It's like whichever one is stronger depends whether, you know, servants can exist in a world. And it was in Tsukihime, it was like Gaia is stronger, so servants don't exist. But I now they've mixed and merged, and there's been crossovers, and I don't know anymore, dude. I don't fucking know. But yeah, would the counterforce still exist if there's no servants? Does primate murder still kill you if you get close to the root? Fucking is Alt Rouge just she still own primate murder? Find out in Tsukihime 2, coming out soon. It says so. Kagetsu Toya. It told me. It's right around the corner. It's gonna happen any second. You know, right after fucking girls' work. Yep. Fucking Carnival Phantasm said so too. And any day now.
高等動物の脳は受信と送信を司る機能なんだけど、大抵の人間はその回線が自分に対してのみで閉じてしまっている。けど中には潜在的に回線が開いている人間もいる。何の魔術回路も利用せず、超越種でさえないのに超常現象を可能とする人間。
Cool. Are these, you know, what we would call the psychics in the last game? You know, we were going over, you know, mages, fucking psychics, paranormals. I think they're just called paranormals now, is what someone told me.
これをね、魔術師たちは超能力者って区分している。
Thank you for clarifying that, Arc.
人間でありながら生まれついて何らかの魔術回路そのものという突然変異体。例えば何の神秘も学んでいないのに物の死を見てしまう人間とかね。
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy, huh? Kind of wild. Sorry, Arcueid. I appreciate you explaining all this to me, but my brain barely understood a word. Yeah, you can't just go fucking blabbling about the root to someone uninitiated in the fucking bullshit. It's just gonna wash right off their fucking brain like water off a duck's back.
いいわよ、式は理解なんかしなくて。言っておき
okay,
たい
Arc,
のは、
like 90%
あんま
of
り見え
fucking
にくいも
Massive
のを
Fans
自
don't
分から
understand
見
it
ようとし
either.
ちゃダメってこと。私は見えないから断言はできない
Or
け
they
ど、
think they do, but
式
they
が
really
見て
don't.
しまってるものは線だけじゃな
Like
いは
me,
ずよ。
and probably like you too.
あなたには線の他にその起点である点も見えているんじゃない？
Just, you know, misassumptions you made fucking 15 years ago when you were reading a wiki that have stuck in your brain ever since, and that's just how you build on top of, like, all your assumptions and understandings are built on faulty, you know, foundations. It's exactly as she says. Sometimes, when I strain my eyes, the lines seem to form a single point. I saw something like that last moment with Vlav. Now that I think back, it wasn't just with Vlav. The shock may have shut my brain off from reality, but I know they were there.
そうだ。あの時、お前を殺した時も確かに点が見えてた。
Well, good thing you didn't hit those and you just
線
traced the
は点
lines
と点を
instead.
結ぶように流れてた。
Like blood vessels, maybe. If the lines are blood vessels, then the points are whatever brings them forth.
物の死にやすい線とその死。なんでしょうね、それ。
Mm-hmm.
式はその気になれば鉱物の死を見ることだって可能だと思う。けどそのために脳が生物の範疇から鉱物の範疇に回線を開いて鉱物の死を知ろうとしてしまう。それは本来ありえない運動よ。脳は過負荷を起こして式は間違いなく使い物にならなくなる。
Past the point of no return, huh?
それはこの目が死を見なくなってくれるってこと。
Now your fucking brain would cook.
まさか。ねえ式、
Mm-hmm.
無茶をしてオーバーブローしたエンジンはどうなるのかしら。
Yeah, you know, you'd fucking throw a piston through the hood, but, you know, this time it'd be your head just popping like a fucking egg in the microwave.
そりゃあジャンク行きだろ。一度でも焼き付いたエンジンは二度と使い物にならない。
Ding, 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 ding. Ah, I see. The headaches I get when I see death are the cries of an engine overheating.
わかった。ただ見えているだけなら問題はないでしょうけど、見えないものを見ようとするのだけはやめて。せいぜい血管が破裂して脳に負荷がかかるぐらいにとどめておき
Brain
なさい。
hemorrhaging, fun.
その先に踏み込んだら生きながらにして石になるなんて末路になりかねない。そのメガネを作ってくれた魔術師には感謝しないとね。
Thanks, Teach.
大抵の超能力者は自分の力がどんなに危険なものか知らずに使用して自分から廃人になってしまうから。まあ人間でありながら人間の社会では生きられない存在的不適合者だから、その
どうやらそれが私がここに来た理由のようだし、私が君を以前の生活に戻してあげる。
Yeah, she seen firsthand what getting involved in fucking wacky magic shit does to people. It's not great. They, you know, punch werewolves in the chest and then die because someone's bitch sister, you know, can't let them have nice things. That's what Master told me when she made me these glasses. I mean, she didn't really make them for you. She fucking stole them from her sister. But yeah, I mean, I guess she stole the lenses and just put them in normal glasses, or I don't know. And I know it says you've reused the lenses and put them into like new frames, but I'm sure they probably came like normal glasses like you got in the flashback? Debatable. Moving on. Or so much it hurts to think about. That day, she saved me in more ways than one. I wouldn't be here without her.
ところで、
うわ
Arcueid materializes right in my face as I'm in the middle of ruminating. Oh, this isn't good for my heart. Yeah, white woman jump scare. I wish she'd let me have a moment, considering what we just talked about.
なんだよ。メガネならもう渡さないぞ。
Yeah, you already said you were gonna break them.
そうじゃなくて、これからどうする？もう死者は出てきそうにないし、今夜はここでお別れにする？
It's 11 o'clock. My curfew was ages ago. Oh. Well, we'll have to come back next time to determine what we're gonna do, because if we keep going, it will keep going for a long time, and I don't want to drag this video out any longer than it needs to be. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you guys on next time for the next episode of Tsukihime Remake, where we will reconvene, and I'll actually record tomorrow on time, so that way this video is scheduled ahead of time, so that way it comes out in the morning at 7 like I try, instead of probably closer to like 7 p.m. when this one's gonna come up. So yeah, I'll try to be better on that one. I'll try not to get randomly sick and feel like dog shit. And no promises though, it's bound to happen. So with that, once again, thank you all for watching. I already said my bit, no sense in saying it again. Catch you later, I guess. Study up on the wiki about how shit works so you can tell me how wrong I am about everything. Catch you guys all later now. Bye-bye.